Well, the New South Wales government will very shortly hand down its first budget. Stay tuned. We're going to be bringing you plenty more details next hour. Some in the tourism sector have been fearing the state will begin losing out on some vital visitor dollars, though, amid plans to slash Destination New South Wales marketing budget by up to 30%. Joining us now is the Tourism and Transport Forum CEO, Margy Osmond. Margy, always good to see you. Thanks for your time. We know times are tough. Belts need to be tightened there in New South Wales. What impact will the cuts have on Destination New South Wales?
It's going to be very significant. And look, we fully understand that all governments have got to make ends meet and tighten the belt. But, we're waiting for the budget to be delivered here in New South Wales. What we have at the moment, of course, is speculation. But, ours is the industry that I think has probably felt more pain than any other during the period of COVID and is still very much in recovery mode. We're in the toughest tourism global market anybody's ever seen. This is not the right time to be cutting back on our capacity to market New South Wales and Australia.
And so what does that mean, recovery mode? Where are we at in terms of tourism levels? Are we getting back to anywhere near pre-COVID levels or not?
Look, I think when you look at traffic through some of our airports, particularly Sydney Airport, we're seeing a high lift in what's happened with international travellers. But, most of those are from New Zealand at this point in time, and many of those will be visiting friends and family. They're not spending a huge amount within the tourism economy. We've just recently had the announcement that the Chinese have taken off the ban on group travel out of China into the rest of the world, which is wonderful news for Australia. But on the day they announced the ban came off Australia, they announced it came off 77 other countries as well. So, there's big competition out there to attract these travellers. And so from our perspective, the more money we spend in that space, the better. Certainly Ruby the Roo from Tourism Australia is doing a big job in China at the moment, but we need people to come to New South Wales. It's the gateway to Australia.
Talking about a gateway to Australia, I see issues at Sydney Airport and customer concerns are being raised on day one of the Senate's aviation inquiry. How bad are things at Sydney Airport? Does the airport need to lift its game?
Oh, look, I think, the more Australians who travel to international airports in other parts of the world, the more who will appreciate Sydney Airport and every other major airport in this country. They're extremely well run. We've been through a very difficult few years with COVID, and it's critical that people understand that the aviation sector has survived and has coped and done the best job they could to get Australians around the country. So they, like everybody else, are still getting back up to speed and recovering. I think for all of us as travellers, this has been a difficult time, but I think it would be fair to say the aviation sector is doing the best job they can. And reviews like the Senate inquiry into bilaterals and how we manage the aviation sector is always welcome. After something like COVID, review, change, evolution, all these things are important.
Well, Qatar Airways, that saga's still bubbling along as well. The Senate looking into that. What's your take on that? Where do you think this is landing in terms of the government's decision to block Qatar Airways from adding extra flights into Australia? Was that a mistake in your view?
Look, I'm agnostic about the brand of the airline, to be perfectly frank. What we need is additional capacity. So we've had airlines like Singapore, China Eastern, a range of others who put on more seats than Qatar was actually proposing in the first place. So important to put things in perspective. We have, as I mentioned, just seen the ban come off group travel out of China. What we really need is significant growth in that capacity between Australia and Asia and India to see those markets come back very, very strongly, because they were the biggest spenders in our tourism market as well. I think the bottom line here is capacity, regardless of what brand or airline it may be.
Margy Osmond, always appreciate you making the time for us. Thank you so much. And plenty more details on the New South Wales budget coming up in the next 12 minutes or so when we get all the details and can bring them to you.